Hello there, good evening. It's 5 p.m. Welcome to Starr today here on Starr 103.5 FM. And coming up this evening, 10,000 construction workers to gain direct employment from newly launched District Road Improvement Program DRIP as President Akufo-Addo touts viability of the program to empower MMDAs. We'll hear from industry players and a local governance expert on the development. Also, Ningo Pram MP and lead sponsor of the anti-gay bill to lead a protest against Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokono on August 21 over delay in ruling on injunction applications against Parliament.
We want to do a peaceful march on the 21st of August to the Chief Justice. Because right now it's not the President that's holding it. It is the Chief Justice. She's the one who is preventing Parliament from sending it to the President.
Online blackmail and sextortion cases on the rise as Ghana records 226 cases between January and June alone, causing a loss of 112,209 cedis. Meanwhile, cybersecurity expert Dr. Edward Danso Ansong has attributed the rise to increasing number of people between 18 and 21 years exposed to social media without any guidance.
The increase has gone up simply because there are lots and lots more of young people who are currently being given mobile phones and mobile devices that get connected to the internet, and they end up usually not being educated on the kinds of harms and dangers they would usually meet.
And later, Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professionals of Kolebu Teaching Hospital threatened to withdraw their services at the facility from Monday, 4th August, if government fails to appoint a director in charge of allied health activities.
On Monday, which is 5th August, we are going to withdraw inpatient services. And then on Tuesday, which is the 6th of August, if management still do not heed to our call, we are going to go into a full-blown strike.
We've got details of these and more coming up shortly. Stay with us.
Star News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Rage and Might FM in Tamale, Somali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Star 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Star 103.5 FM.
Grateful for your company this evening. Welcome aboard Ghana's most comprehensive news analysis program. Start today here on Star 103.5 FM. We are coming to you live from our studios at the Platinum Place, North Ridge, Accra. We are live on Facebook, so do join us there with your thoughts, your comments, your views, and contributions. It's at facebook.com/Star 103.5 FM. Alternatively, you can send all of those to our WhatsApp number 0552 880 216. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Let's get into the details of our stories this evening. And some 10,000 Ghanaian construction workers are expected to gain direct jobs from the government's accelerated road construction project, dubbed the District Road Improvement Program, DRIP. Now, the initiative, which is mainly funded by the District Assembly Common Fund, is meant to patch up and smoothen deplorable roads across the country. Addressing dignitaries during the launch, President Akufo-Addo admonished the various MMDAs to ensure proper maintenance of the equipment, adding that the intervention is a proof of his administration's commitment to improving road infrastructure in the country. Listen to him.
I stand before you today with considerable pride to launch the District Road Improvement Program DRIP and to commission essential equipment whose use will be crucial in transforming road networks across the country. This event marks an important milestone in our pursuit of infrastructural development, and I'm honored to commemorate this momentous occasion with you all. This ceremony is proof, if any were needed, of the determination of the Akufo-Addo government to decentralize development and ensure that every corner of Ghana benefits from the progress and prosperity we strive to achieve. Road infrastructure is the backbone of economic growth and social development. Roads connect communities, facilitate trade, enable access to education and healthcare, and ultimately improve the quality of life for the citizenry. However, despite the considerable progress we have made, many of our roads, particularly in the rural districts, remain in deplorable conditions, hampering economic activities and development efforts. Today, we take a giant step towards addressing these challenges. The District Road Improvement Program DRIP is designed to empower our metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies, MMDAs, with the resources and equipment necessary to rehabilitate and maintain roads within their jurisdictions. The program is a clear demonstration of our attachment to decentralization, giving local authorities the tools they need to effect meaningful change in their communities. I'm pleased to announce the commissioning of an impressive fleet of equipment that will be distributed to all MMDAs across the country. This fleet of 2,240 units includes motor graders, backhoes, rollers, wheel loaders, bulldozers, tipper trucks, concrete mixers, water tankers, low beds, and other essential equipment manufactured by the reputable Chinese company, Lugong Group of Companies, working in partnership with a dynamic Ghanaian private sector entity, the Justborn Group of Companies. We continue to appreciate warmly the cooperation between the government and people of the Republic of Ghana and the people and government of the People's Republic of China. Long may that cooperation flourish. These machines are not merely tools, they are instruments of change, enablers of progress, and symbols of our dedication to improving the lives of all Ghanaians. The implementation of this ambitious program will be overseen by a 4-member committee at each metropolitan, municipal, and district assembly. The committee will comprise one technical officer from the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization, and Rural Development, one technical officer from the Ministry of Roads and Highways, one person from the 48 Engineer Revenant of the Ghana Armed Forces, under the overall chairmanship of Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Chief Executives.
So that's President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo at the launch of DRIP early today. But let's get on the phone lines and engage the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, Emmanuel Cherry. Emmanuel Cherry, thank you so much for your time this evening, sir.
The pleasure is mine, my brother. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. And so today, DRIP was launched ostensibly to help the various MMDAs improve the quality of road networks in their jurisdictions. Exactly your thoughts on this program.
First of all, let me take this opportunity to salute you and then to greet your cherished listeners and viewers across the entire world. Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry must first of all commend government, especially His Excellency the President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, for such a huge job done today. It's a beautiful and a colorful event that has been the climax with all key stakeholder that matters. So it's a plus that we must say to the government. However, there are other issues that we need to take care of accordingly as time goes on. So definitely, as industry players, we have a key interest in this particular initiative.
And we are told that about 10,000 artisans, mechanics, and what have you will be directly employed as a result of this. But you mentioned that there are some issues that need to be thrashed out to ensure that this program is run smoothly. What are some of those concerns?
Yeah, if you should listen to the president carefully, you realize that he is now directing the various MNDs to put in place certain committees to make sure that proper usage of these equipments are being put in place. So therefore, that tells you that is one of the legs that possibly we are also looking at. The issue before us here is, you see, these equipments are capital intensive, and then its maintenance cost is also another issue altogether. And then you and I know the way we normally behave towards government properties. So anything that possibly have in quotes government initiative becomes a different ball game altogether. So the maintenance culture aspect of it is where we are also looking at. How is it going to be manned? Those are some of the issues. Is the private sector coming on board to support? Because the discussion we had with the president somewhere 2-3 years ago, the request we placed before him is to have a national plan pool. And then we were thinking that this is going to be channeled into that particular directive. But however, it seems it's a bit different from what exactly we also propose. However, it's early days yet. We need to engage further to see exactly what is under the slate for us to at least unravel. Because the way it is now, if we should leave this to solely to the various district assemblies to manage, I'm telling you, this will not reach 6 months. You'll see the machines scattered all over the place and doing all other things. Because the type of politics we play in this country is very appalling, because my government is in power, and therefore you can decide to do anything whatsoever. Nobody can punish you. You go scot-free to all of you. So this kind of mindset we have as an entire country, as a nation, that is what is bringing us, whining in cycles. We are not moving on. We are not progressing. We keep the dancing within the same space. So therefore, to us, Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, we have law that this should have set as a national plan pool so that any contractor that has been given a job can easily go in there, rent it, pay for it, and then use it per whatsoever usage that the person requests for. Then you bring it back. If anything happens, you're the one who picks up, you are going to service it accordingly. Depending upon this, at least it can give us the longevity. But as it is now, sincerely, we are yet to interrogate the issues back. If it's going to be manned by government, then I'm sorry. I don't see the lifespan of this extending more than 2 years.
And it's quite interesting you mentioned this, because when you listen to the president carefully, he talked about the committee, the 4-member committee that would be responsible for this. And that committee would be headed by the MCE or DCE of that particular area. It will also have technical experts from the Ministry of Roads and Highways, technical experts from the local government and decentralization ministry, as well as a representative from the 48 engineers. Isn't that enough to give you that assurance in terms of protecting these equipment at the various MMDAs?
You see, getting the machine or equipment per se is not the issue. You see, it's just one leg of it. the implementation, the purpose of utility, the usage of the equipment, that is what matters. Now, the government, initiative is to at least upgrade the various road networks within the various communities, constituencies, and what have you. This is a plus. However, the machine needs to be, equipped with fuel, lubricants, and then the other associated costs. All of those things, let's ask ourselves this question. The various MMDs, as we speak today, has their common fund been released to them? Where are they going to get those external monies from to man this particular equipment to make sure that its users become efficient? So, you see, with the way we behave in this country is just like we scratch the faces of almost everything, and then they throw it around, dance around it, make fanfare of it, and then at the end of the day, we all go to bed, wake up thinking that things will change, and then we come back to the same square one. So therefore, my brother, sincerely, if the district assembly, no matter the committee put in place, the various district assemblies that are going to man this, do they have the financial muscles for to be able to man this equipment to the latter? Because fuel alone, go to the various MMDAs, they are owing so many, pumps, fuel filling stations, a lot of amount of money that they have not been able to pay. All of them are hinting it will draw, the draw from district common, district common assembly common fund,
Right.
which is not coming. As we speak today, there is arrears in that. So if government is going to go the same length, then in fact, we are not going to see anything good out of this. The best thing for us to do is to put this into a national plan pool so that contractors that will be given the various jobs to go rent them, use them, and then at least the service aspect will be, and the government can get the money to pay back wherever you are taking this from. If not so, I'm telling you, if government is to man this himself, then we are not going to see anything good out of this.
So your proposal is that instead of giving these machines to the various MMDAs, let's have a national plant pool. Put all the machines there. When contractors have to execute jobs, they go rent the machines, use, and then government can also get some form of revenue from these. That's the proposal you are making.
It's perfect. So every constituency or every district will have, for instance, as has been distributed to the various districts, so they have it there. Now the district now knowing that, okay, we have this road from here to here, that needs to be done. If you just surface, grading, that one, they can do it themselves. But as such a road, I'm telling you, the district assembly cannot manage. So therefore, the best thing for them to do, put it into a plan pool so that contractors who have been giving those jobs may not necessarily go buying new equipment or renting outside, but the machines are within the jurisdiction. So therefore, it becomes easier. All they need to do is to make sure that the service cost is being taken care of so that the assembly can get its, revenue to repatriate it wherever they have gotten the machines from. If that happens, I'm telling you, it will not be long. We'll get the money and then they pay off this particular machine, because don't forget, this is on high pitches.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Cherry, thank you so much. And I'm sure that in the coming days, we'll have extensive discussions on this particular proposal that you are making. But we're grateful for your time this evening.
The pleasure is mine.
Great. So that's Emmanuel Cherry. He's the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry. And they are raising very legitimate questions. Where are the assemblies going to get the funds to be able to effectively maintain and put these machines to use? That's the question that they are asking this evening. You can get interactive with me on social media. We're live on Facebook, so sending your thoughts to Facebook. We are streaming live at Starr 103.5 FM. I'll read some of your messages. We'll also be getting to the phone line shortly to get to speak to a local governance expert, because when you listen to the president carefully today, he mentioned that this particular move, the program DRIP, is basically to empower the MMDAs to be able to now take charge of their own activities in terms of road construction, because we are having a lot of people complain about the quality of roads in the various municipalities. And so this program is to ensure that every single MMDA has equipment to be able to now deal with the roads. So if you live perhaps in Lejokuku, you're living in that area, the roads are terrible. The assembly there would get equipment to be able to now manage the roads in that area. But let's get on the phone lines and speak to local governance expert Dr. Richard Fiadomo on this particular development. Doc, good evening. Welcome to Starr today.
Yeah, good evening and good evening to all your cherished listeners.
Fantastic. I hope you're doing well, sir.
Yeah, by God's grace, you are managing.
Great. So today, over 2,000 equipment, distributed to the various MMDAs under this DRIP program. Exactly your thoughts on this?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that if you go to a lot of the MMDAs and you look at especially the inner roads and the roads within the communities, many of them are in very bad shape. So if you can have a situation whereby the assembly will have the capacity to be able to put some of these roads in a good shape, I think it is welcome news. As to whether what the equipment that has been given will be able to construct roads in the truest sense of the word, for that I have my doubts.
We are told it's to make sure that the roads are more motorable, so it will be used to patch some of the roads that are deplorable, smoothen surfaces, and all of that. But one fundamental question that has been raised so far is to whether or not the assemblies have the wherewithal to be able to maintain and put these equipment to use.
Yeah, that is where we are having a point of departure with the government. You have a situation whereby the MMDAs are there. They have a statutory funds which is supposed to be paid to them, the District Assemblies Common Fund, to be able to patch up the roads and do some of these works. If the monies are available, the assemblies can be able to get contractors to perform some of these basic functions within the assemblies. Now we have a situation whereby we are not releasing the District Assemblies Common Fund. Only God knows where the budget is, because this was not in the budget for the year under review. So clearly, the assemblies are going to struggle even maintaining this equipment, fueling this equipment, and people will have to be employed. And now, if you're engaging people, are they going to be engaged on GOG or IGF, where the monies are not coming? So for me, I think that apart from it being a political maneuvering that is happening, it is not going to attain its desired effect, because clearly many of the assemblies will not have the financial capacity to maintain some of this equipment, let alone fuel them for them to perform the functions for which they have been given.
So in this case, what do we do?
Very interesting question. I think that this government just have the penchant of trying to score cheap political points. And that is all that they have just done. Because at the end of the day, we know that there are even the urban roads which are not properly even integrated in the MMDAs. So at the end, what we are seeing now, you are saying the assembly. And when you say the assembly, then obviously it's not going to be under the Ministry of Highways, and it's not going to be under the urban roads. So the assembly itself, I do not think has even the manpower to be able to man these machines. At the end of the day, new people will have to be recruited. Are they going to be recruited on IGF, which many of the assemblies do not have, or they are going to be GOG? If it's going to be on GOG, then it's the head of service that will have to do the recruitment. Are we now going to have the equipment in place and now wait for the head of service to now employ people to come and take up, use these machines to, as it were, grade the routes and put them in a motorable shape? So I think that these are things that contractors could have easily done. Now the equipment are supposed to be for the assemblies. Those equipment will have to be manned, those equipment will have to be fueled, and those equipment will have to be operated. Yet the assemblies do not have the necessary funds to be able to do some of these things. So that is why when they give it to contractors, contractors use their own funds to pre-finance the project. As and when common fund is paid and the assembly has money, then they pay the contractors. Now we are having a situation whereby those trucks are going to become white elephants. And I dare say that they are also going to be misused, because you have a situation whereby some chief executives will now be listening to party pressure and they'll be sending equipment to places which the assembly itself has not yet sanctioned. So for me, it is more of a political propaganda than anything else. At the end of the day, a lot of these equipment are going to be packed and they will not be used for this internal purpose. Number one, because the assemblies do not have the manpower to operate them. The assembly does not have the financial wherewithal to operate these machines. And I'm not a prophet of doom, but immediately after the elections, a lot of the district assemblies cannot operate these machines because the same government is simply refusing to give them the money, the DACF that is due them, that is in arrears for more than 5 quarters. So it is for me more of a propaganda tool than they wanting to have the roads becoming more trouble within the MMDs.
But Doc, when you listen to the president, he mentioned clearly that this move is basically to empower the various MMDAs, for which reason a committee will be set up in all of these MMDAs. So we would have the MC or the DC being the head. There'll be technical people from the 48 Regiment of the Ghanaian Forces. We're also looking at technical people from the Roads and Highways Ministry, technical people from the local government and decentralization ministries. And these committees would spearhead the agenda of putting this equipment to great use at the various MMDAs, and you say it still would not yield the desired results?
Yes, my brother, if that is what the president is saying, then the equipment is not for the MMDAs.
How so?
Because the MMDAs are decentralized institutions. The 48th Regiment, are they a decentralized institution? No, they are not. And when it comes to 48th Regiment, what do we use the 48th Regiment for? They are good at building bridges. So if these equipment are meant to grade roads, are meant to make roads put in proper shape or making them more travel, then the assembly should be able to do it. So if you are bringing in 48th Regiment, if you are going to set up committee to come and operate these machines, then the machines are not for the MMDs. So
but the MCs and the DCs would lead this charge. Doesn't it still make the machines for the MDAs simply because they are tapping into the knowledge and expertise of people who are from the various ministries and also the Ghanaian forces?
This move by the government is centralization and not decentralization. That's the 48th Regiment. On a daily basis, do they report to the MMDCs? The answer is no. So on what basis will a chief executive commandeer the 48th Regiment to perform a particular task? Then what it means is that if a committee is going to be formed, made up of 48th Regiment, made up of the assembly, then it is not something the assembly has the command and control over. So what it means is that today we are being told that the equipment are for the assemblies, but the assemblies do not have the power to operate those equipment. And that is where we are saying that it is mere propaganda to win an election. If it is for the assemblies, I would have thought that by now, these committees would have been in place. People who would have been engaged and other things before the equipment are given to the assemblies. Now the equipment have been given to the assemblies today, as we are told. In the next 2-3 weeks, all the assemblies, they will have DS. They cannot operate it because you now need time to come and form these committees. Now the 48th Regiment, do you find 48th Regiment across all the MMDAs in Ghana? The answer to is no. So if you're in Zabzugu Tatale, where the military has no base at all there, where are you going to get the 48th Regiment? If you go to Tamale, Kamina Barracks, the military is there, but they do not have 48th Regiment in Tamale. Somebody should correct me if I'm wrong. So how is Tamale Metropolitan Assembly going to engage 48th Regiment in Accra? So clearly,
a technical person from the 48 Engineers Regiment of the Ghanaian Forces would be at the various assemblies. That's the understanding that the president is giving us. That you see, you do not have to have the 48 regiments established in the assembly, but a technical person from the regiment would be assigned to each of the MMDAs.
You see, we are doing decentralization. Let's stop this issue of trying to centralize the activities of the assembly. Now, the technical person that is going to be 48th Regiment is going to be stationed and working at the assembly under the chief executive. Is that what the case is going to be? The military, 48th Regiment, they do not report to the MMDCs on a daily basis. So if you form a committee, they can come and serve on a committee and leave. But this equipment are supposed to be in the assembly for the whole year for them to use. So on what basis are you using the 48th Regiment to come? Because the 48th Regiment, we all know that it is not normal construction that they are involved in. You see the 48th Regiment being involved when there are bridges and other sophisticated work.
There are engineers there who would handle the machines too.
Yes, the assembly has its own engineers. There are urban roads engineers at the assemblies. How is it that these urban roads engineers cannot lead this charge and we have to bring consultants or persons outside of the district assembly to come and do this? And I'm just telling you that these things that we are being told, the equipment are not going to be the bona fide properties of the assembly. The assembly will have to rely on the committee that they are talking about to now give them their schedule for them to come and operate the machines. So the assemblies are not going to be the ones operating the machines. It is going to be controlled by the committee, which the chief executive is going to be a member. And I am saying that if that is what is going to be the case, then we will not have a situation whereby as and when the assembly needs the equipment, they will have access to it. It's not going to happen. If that were to be the case, those equipment should forever be parked at the premises of the assembly. The assembly should engage their own operators. The assembly should be able to fuel those equipment and all that. And I'm also saying that assemblies today, as we see them, they are cash-strapped, so they cannot operate those machines on their own. And that is where the conundrum is. And that is why I think that the government has just done this at this time for political end, rather than a genuine effort to have the roads becoming more travel within the MMDAs across the country.
And so, Doc, this is where we find ourselves, where the equipment will be going to the assemblies. Like you said, in the next week or two, every assembly should have their set of equipment. How then do we maximize the use of this equipment in the various MMDAs?
I would have thought that the president, in putting this program and launching it, should have also informed all of us where the assemblies are expected to get money to operate this equipment. That would have been fantastic for me to have heard. I didn't listen to him. I don't know if he said it, but if he did not say, he should have told all of us where they expect, because this equipment that has come, the assembly has not budgeted for it. The assembly did not know about this last year when they were putting the 2024 budget in place. So the assembly has not made any budget to operate this equipment. So clearly the assembly does not have the money. So I would have thought that the president, in trying to bring about this equipment for the assembly, would have also said that the DACF has been released or an amount has been voted and given to the assembly to be able to operate this equipment. So what I see is that the equipment will go to the assemblies. Some of the assemblies will not be able to operate the equipment, not because they do not have the manpower required, but they do not also have the financial resources to operate those machines because there is no money.
Well, I'm sure that in the coming days we'll be getting further clarity from the government on this particular policy. But Doc, thank you so much for your time this evening.
The pleasure is mine.
Right, so that's Dr. Richard Fiadumo. He is a local governance expert speaking to us on the launch of the DRIP today by the president, talking about the district road improvement program, where we are seeing over 2,000 equipment distributed to the various MMDAs in the country, basically to help them smoothen roads and make roads within the various municipalities quite motorable. Some of you have already started sending messages on Facebook. David Darlington says, so this government has done something. Kwesi Yamu Abeiru is watching. Thank you so much. Morris Werengai Nyongesa is also watching. And Aaron Babako Kokomisa says the government must prioritize the construction of new roads in areas that are lacking adequate infrastructure. This includes building new highways, bridges, and connecting roads to improve connectivity between regions. Now, by expanding the road network, the government can stimulate economic growth, improve access to healthcare and education, and promote tourism. You can also send your messages on Facebook. We are live there, and I'll be sure to read it to the rest of the world. Some of you are also sending messages to our WhatsApp number 0552 880216 0552 880216, and I'll get there and read some of your messages to you as well. This is Starr today on Starr 103.5 FM. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Starr today, burst, fast, and credible.
Now, Ningo Prampram MP and lead sponsor of the anti-gay bill, Samuel Nati George, says he will lead a protest against Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokono on August 21 over delay in ruling on injunction applications against Parliament. The Supreme Court on July deferred its ruling on the injunction application on the transmission of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill to the President until the substantive case is determined. The five-member panel, chaired by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono, adjourned the case indefinitely. Listen to her.
Also hold the view that an early trial of the action will serve the cause of justice better in view of the fact that it will render a clearer view of the constitutional issues better than a sustained dispute over interlocutory matters. The presentation that processes necessary for the substantive suit are being filed bolsters our decision to consider both the interlocutory application and the substantive suit together, enabling this court to deliver a more informed, comprehensive, and just decision that accounts for all relevant circumstances and factors in this important matter. Such a unified approach will further provide context and clarity and also afford a clearer understanding of the issues raised in this interlocutory matter and their impact on the main suit. Having therefore diligently analyzed all the material processes on the record in this instant application and listened to oral submissions by learned counsel for the parties, our decision is to reserve our verdict on the interlocutory application until the final determination of the substantive suit, at which point we will render a comprehensive judgment that addresses all aspects of the case, including the current application for injunction. In conclusion, the decision of this court on this application for an interlocutory injunction is hereby deferred to abide the outcome of the determination of the substantive suit.
So that was the ruling from the Chief Justice on this particular matter. But lead sponsor Samuel Nati George says the Chief Justice is holding the nation ransom with the decision of her panel. Listen to him.
Which is a law to make it illegal in Ghana. Thankfully, in February this year, Parliament passed the bill. When Parliament passed the bill, it ought to go to the President for his approval. Since 28th of February, it's been one story after another. Now what we hear is that there's a court case. We said, okay, fine. Let's wait for the courts to rule on the case. The courts fixed 17th of July for the case, the injunction against Parliament. On the 17th of July, when we went to court, the Chief Justice now says that she's pushed the case towards the end of the year and she wants to hear the whole case, which can even go into next year before she even rules on the injunction. Meaning that till that is done, we can't have any headway with this bill that is law. As children of God and as Ghanaians, we know it is against our religion, it's against our culture. We want to do a peaceful march on the 21st of August to the Chief Justice. Because right now, it's not the President that's holding it. It is the Chief Justice. She is the one who is preventing Parliament from sending it to the President. So we don't have a problem with the President. We don't have a problem with the Speaker. Our problem is with the Chief Justice. She's paid by our taxes. She says she's a Christian. The people of Ghana just want her to do what we pay her a salary for, hear the case and give a judgment. If you give a judgment, if it goes one way or the other, we know where we stand. But if you don't give a judgment, we are all hanging in the air. So we've come to our Father again, because before we started this bill, we came to him for his prayers, guidance, and blessing. And we believe that that is what helped us to go through. Now, where we have gotten to, it's another battle ahead of us with the Chief Justice. And so we've come back to our Father to seek his blessings and his guidance and his advice and counsel as we go out on the 21st peacefully to ask the Chief Justice. It is not political. There is no political party color that will be there. Whether you are MPP, whether you are NDC, whether you are CPP, we all believe that this is wrong. Whether you are independent. So on that day, we're all going out with the Ghana flag because this is about Ghana. And we just want our Father's blessing and his advice on how we go about it.
So that's Sam George. He is the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, also a lead sponsor of the Human Family Values and Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. And they are saying that they will stage a protest on the 21st of August, basically against the decision of the Supreme Court to postpone the decision on the injunctions on this particular bill. But what they are also saying, what happened today was that they visited the Osuwulomo Numogbelimfo And Numogbe Info asked for an immediate action on the bill. And they also went to the Chief Imam's office. And the Chief Imam also speaking to an interpreter through his support behind the protest while admonishing the sponsors to ensure due process is followed to avoid any chaos. So what it is that on the 21st of August, we are likely to see a protest on the bill and how it's happened or how it's basically gone so far. Now, away from that, online blackmail and sextortion cases are on the rise as the country has recorded 226 cases between January and June, with 141 reports filed between March and June alone. Now, a statement issued by the Cybersecurity Authority indicates that these 226 cases recorded so far this year have resulted in a loss of 112,209 cedis. As such, the authority is urging the public to be wary of quickly progressing online relationships, especially those leading to requests for intimate content. Now, my colleague Adam Kodjo has joined me with a copy of the release. Adam, so what basically is the authority saying in that particular release?
Okay, so if our listeners will recall, before we went for the Easter festivities, that was in March 2024, the Cyber Security Authority put out some information that there has been a year-on-year increase in online blackmail in the first 2 months of the year. Now, it says that at the beginning of the year, it had about 120 reports, but between March and June, that is the next about 4 months, it has an additional 141 new reports that were filed between March and June. And this therefore means that in the first 6 months of the year, Joshua, 226 cases of online blackmail or sextortion has been recorded. Now, it adds that eventually the total sum, as you rightly said, that has been given out or extorted from people is some 112,209 Ghana cedi. Now, the Cybersecurity Authority goes on to explain what is usually the modus operandi. And it says now, the actors initiate friendship on social media platforms, typically Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. And later, when you get comfortable, they move the conversation to WhatsApp. Now, with time, the malicious actors move the friendship to intimate relationships, luring targeted individuals into making nude video calls on WhatsApp that are secretly recorded. Now, these actors may initiate unsolicited video calls, capture the target's face, and then use it for fake explicit content or exchange explicit photos, usually not of themselves, with a target and later manipulate them into sharing theirs. So it says the person will call you, send you a fake nude picture for you to think, okay, the person is the one, and in return, you would also send yours out of trust, and that is eventually captured. Now, it says then you are threatened to that there will be a release of your compromising materials, and you are therefore made to pay a ransom. So, Joshua, this is what the cyber authority is saying, and it's quite alarming. 226 in 6 months.
Yeah, very alarming. But let me get on the phone lines now and engage the head of computer emergency response team at the Cyber Security Authority, Stephen Kodjo Seshi. He's joined me on the phone lines now. Stephen, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you, and good evening to your listeners.
Fantastic. So, we here in the studio are quite alarmed about the statistics. Do we really have cause to be alarmed?
Well, the point is the Cybersecurity Authority runs what we call a point of contact, which is set up to receive complaints about cybercrime or cyber incidents, and then use that to then inform action. So we have multiple channels: SMS, WhatsApp. You can call us on 292. Now, when we are getting reports like this, we look at the trend analysis and then we come out with these alerts. So the numbers we are seeing compared to last year are definitely much, much higher, and therefore that's what has prompted the alerts. So for sure, we see such a high rise that we thought it wise to let the public know, so they are on their guard against this particular crime.
So what are the dynamics here in terms of how the people are able to, how all of this is happening?
Right. So this particular issue is essentially exploiting our social media platforms. So what we see is that a lot of these cases are triggered by someone engaging as a potential victim on any of the other media platforms, especially Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. It starts as looks like an innocent someone, a new friend or a new contact saying hi, can we chat? But usually once the conversation starts and it begins to attract the person, they would move it to WhatsApp, and then from there the shall we say the manipulation starts. So they get you to share some nude photos or participate in a nude video call, and then once that is recorded without your knowledge, you have a problem. Immediately someone will call back and say, okay, we have this content on you. You gotta pay us so and so amount of money, or we are going to release it. So it's just something that exploits our human nature. We are, if an attractive lady contacts a guy, pretty much depending on how the conversation is going, can easily head towards intimate conversations, and these people are quite skilled at this. This is what they do. So it's how they are attracting so many people, and people are falling victim.
So what are the age and then the gender dynamics to this issue of sextortion, so that at least we can know which areas it's happening at?
So based on the statistics we have, I mean, it's not exactly 50-50, but the females have a slightly higher number. Of the 226, we have 125 being female and 101 being males. So it appears the ladies are being targeted slightly more than the guys. Age dynamics, it's pretty much the young people, although once in a while you get outliers, people in the more senior age category, but it's people in the young age brackets that are typically falling for this. Sometimes you get as low as people in the high school and people who are approaching the end of high school, university graduates, or that whole group is targeted. People who are active on social media, people who tend to be active on social media is where the activity happens the most often.
And in terms of social media, are there specific platforms that we are seeing this happen, or it's spread across?
It's spread across. Once they see people active anywhere, they are there. So Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, wherever they can find people, they'll go there.
Well, very well. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen, for speaking to us. And I'm sure that now that people know, would be more on alert on this particular one. We're grateful for your time.
Yes, I think one quick point I would want to add is the law, the Cybersecurity Act, gives us powers to prosecute people that cause this. So if you look at Section 66 and 68 of the Cybersecurity Act, it's very specific on what would happen to people that threaten people with such material or actually go out to release it. So let's be mindful of it. Let's report these crimes so that the necessary action can be taken.
And talking about reporting, how can people report such crimes?
So the easiest way is to call 292. It's from all networks. Someone will pick up 24/7. There's a team available to pick up your complaints and take the necessary details. I think one other thing we need to add is when you receive such threats, don't give in. Just report it. Block that whichever number is threatening you, and then just do the reporting. We also have a WhatsApp line, which is 050-160-3111. You can send a WhatsApp.
So, Stephen, if you can just take time for me and then let people know clearly so that we can take note of these numbers.
Yes, please. So to call us is 292. And to send a WhatsApp is 050-160-3111.
050-160-3111.
Correct. If you want to use email, we have report@csa.gov.gh.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We're grateful for your time this evening.
Most welcome.
All right. So that's Stephen. Stephen Kodjo Seshi from the Cybersecurity Authority. He's the head of Computer Emergency Response Team, telling us exactly what the dynamics are. So more females compared to males, even though it's just slightly, the disparity is not that much. But so basically, we are all at risk when it comes to things like this because of human nature. I mean, Adam Kodjo, when a beautiful lady sends him hi on social media, the tendency for him to just want to respond, it's high. And then it graduates from there to WhatsApp and, Prince Asian. Clearly, when a beautiful lady sends him hi, definitely there'll be an issue there. But clearly, we need to get to know what to look out for. What is the trend? How do they get these unsuspecting people? Because the numbers are rising rapidly, as we have been told by the Cybersecurity Authority. And if you've had some experiences with such people, let me know exactly what your thoughts are on WhatsApp 0552 880216. Alternatively, you can also go on Facebook and comment under our live stream there. I would read that to the rest of the world, and then we can get to have a conversation basically on this particular one. And Jace B on Facebook says the government has always been doing something, we just don't see it. Okay, he's reacting to the drip launch. But let's get on the phone lines now and speak to cybersecurity expert Dr. Edward Danso Ansong. Doc, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic. Doc, I hope you're doing well, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm doing very well.
Great. So some very worrying statistics there that we are seeing the numbers shoot up. 226 cases recorded so far from January to June of cyber online blackmail and sextortion cases. Exactly how worrying is this phenomenon?
Thank you very much once again for having me. I would start by saying that the statistics that we have are reported incidents. But to be very honest, I can tell you for a fact that the cases are even more than what we have received so far in terms of the statistics, because the numbers have shot up because more and more people are becoming aware of where to report to, because some years back, not many people knew what to do and how to go about it and so on. So as it stands now, I can even confidently say that the cases are even more than what has been put out by the CSA, that's the Cybersecurity Authority.
Then it's even more worrying than we are thinking.
Of course, because and then I must say that the numbers are even going to go up, because now look at how kids are now being introduced to mobile devices. If we talk about the GES, the curriculum and all the assignments, the creation of emails and so on. But in all of this, these curriculum does not contain anything that has to do with online safety or child online protection. I know that the Ministry of Communication, together with the CSA, has made several attempts to, involve second cycle, students from second cycle institutions and all of that in some of these forums. But I must say that in as much as, the population of people who go online, people who use digital devices, social media and so on, are on the ascendancy, these things are definitely going to go up because now things have turned into more of social media. If you are not part of it, if you are not playing to it, you are not part of the whole thing that is actually going on. So as a result of this, I am telling you that even the incidents that we report, even at the various universities, not all of them are even reported to the various security agencies and all of that. Even as a private person, as I am, into cyber security, the cases that sometimes even come to our attention before we even channel them to the CID and so on are so troubling, where sometimes these victims even plead that we don't even escalate these cases because they feel so emotionally distressed. They feel that, they become suicidal sometimes. And they feel that when these things go up out there, it could lead to so much embarrassment. So we in the industry know exactly what is actually going on. And I must say that it is not good. It is not good.
And we are told that, yes, even though it looks even, there are more more ladies are victims to this than men. So what should we be looking out for when we are using the internet? Because basically we want to expand the scope of our digitalization agenda and all. So what should we be looking out for?
Sure. What you actually said is exactly what the situation is, because nude men doesn't sell. It is nudity of women that sell, where everybody would want to go and watch, would go and look. Everybody's looking for trends. Who has the latest leak and so on. And I'm so disappointed in the National Media Council, of how some even online and news portals, private news portals, have been allowing such, videos to be posted on their portals and all that. And, the truth is that they do what we call as profiling. So this is the advice that's based on the question that you actually asked. They do what we call as the profiling. They look at your activity on social media, especially the female. They check on the things that you usually like, those that you normally check, where your interests are, and so on. They try to send a friend request. They try to be part of your friends of friends. They actually try as much as possible to know the kind of things that you comment and so on. And then through this, they actually develop a friendship with you. Then they carry on knowing what you like, what you love, what you admire most, and so on. They would seem to share the similar, interests as you do. They build that, friendship, and then they move from the social media to WhatsApp messages. Then the communication continues, and then through this, they begin to play, pre-recorded videos sometimes without the notice of the victims, who may also be watching and may not actually know what is actually going on. So because they are able to, build that bond together with you, right? There are instances where you may be even not being your very good, self, like, half dressed and all that, because you have already built that friendship and all that. Then they will be recording. And if the worst comes to worst, they may sometimes even attach naked body and then attach the head to it. And, these things are what they are actually using, which we call as the extortion, which they are actually using to extort money from people. And I tell those that even the educated also falls victims of them. If you go to our various university campuses, if you go to, various countries, you find these cases being reported day in and day out. But it's not all of them that we usually want to escalate to that level, because sometimes these victims only want us to help in retrieving these things from these criminals, but do not want to come out in the limelight, and that's why the incidence of report is still very, very low. So what we are actually seeing now is still not the accurate figure which is supposed to have been reported.
And as it stands now, it is obvious that this is very criminal, yet we see people still go on that tangent. For instance, recently there was a video of a young lady who was complaining about her videos being put out there, even though they blackmailed her, she paid, she also did some things that they wanted her to do, but still her videos were put online. Why is it that we are not cracking down more on perpetrators to disincentivize others from also getting into that stream?
Yeah, what you are saying is very true, because if we are to crack the whip, this thing, which these boys see as a lucrative business, would have actually been incentivized. One of the key reasons for this is that most of these victims are unable to escalate this to the police or the cybersecurity authorities and all that, because of the shame that they feel they might encounter. That is what is actually fueling, these guys, because, and sometimes too, they don't actually dig out the full information about them, like themselves. They use pre-registered SIM cards. They don't give precise, address to their victims. The victims are unable to check all these things. So usually when you ask them because even last year alone, some of the cases that I actually looked at five in number, which I don't think is even part of the statistics that you are currently referring to at the moment. But yet, these big victims, only one was bold enough to follow us to the CID to make a case. The four of them were only asking us how we can help in retrieving these videos, and sometimes even these people make sexual offers that if you can't pay, then you have to also come in and all that. I do recall that some few years back, a similar incident happened in Konoma Factory in Kumasi, where we were able to help in arresting the perpetrator, who was a JSS dropout, but was able to manage in duping two individuals, including a married woman, right? So in the course of asking for that sexual favor, which the police CID did so well by tricking him into believing that, yes, that's exactly what was actually going to happen. And that was when he was actually caught. These things have been there, just that really not reported. And the modus operandi and all the other activities they use in carrying out these acts, if I'm to share them, we will not be able to finish right now.
Wow. So as it stands now, we just need to be very cautious and very careful when we are on the social media platforms.
Exactly. Even sometimes people feel that you only need to ask others or people you know. But there are lots of impersonations out there. So even those people you think you know may not actually be the exact people that, may be sending you those friend requests. And also, do not encourage anything that has to do with video calls with people that you have not actually built that friendship or anything whatsoever with them. Unsolicited video calls and messages and all of that. And at no circumstance should you share any picture of yourself, video of yourself, whether at home, wherever, with such people who actually try to, because even if you don't send them what they are looking for, they can even use these video editing tools and apps to even edit your head and put it on a naked body. And this is what is actually going on. And there are instances where, unfortunately, it is these same women who rather make requests for these things. And that is what I want to say, that there are lots of social media groups out there, especially on Facebook. What they do is they would ask anyone who wants to have a white man as a boyfriend. So they connect you to it. You become part of it. They give you guidance on what to say and what not to say, what you can get out of them and all that. Sometimes these people who are perceived white men are also those victims who have also been deceived into wiring money and so on and so forth. And there are times when these young boys sometimes also buy SIM cards from foreign countries and then use them as if they are foreigners, play recorded videos in their interactions and conversations. So these ladies, these unsuspecting ladies, are made to believe that these are the white people that they have paid for. They pay between 200 Ghana, 100 cedis, and sometimes as low as 50 cedis to get those contacts. So they begin to build that friendship. They see a white man that they are chatting with and all that, only for them to realize that it is indeed Ghanaians and sometimes foreign nationals here in Ghana who are deceiving them into leaking out and bringing out videos and photos. I want to see the way you are before I can marry you. I want to see how your shape is. I want to see this. So little by little, that gets to a point where, the naked thighs, the backside, and these are some of the videos and pictures that are always given to us whenever such investigations come. And sometimes you would wonder that how can such a person fall victim to some of these tricks, and sometimes you would say that it's out of greed. Other times you might say that, well, it is out of ignorance. You would actually try to find the reason to why a responsible person, and especially has to do with women. But I must say that there are also few incidents of men who also fall victim to this. And these are usually these latest things that is actually going on TikTok, these TikTok lives. Most of the people who are on TikTok live are all men. They are not women. Oh, we are ready to engage in the sexual things with you and all that. They target you. These are targeted attacks. They know who you are. They've already gone through your backgrounds and all of that. So they target you. You see a naked woman also taking out her clothes and, touching herself and all that. So as a man, if you're also tempted to also do things, yours will be recorded, hers will be taken out because you feel you are so comfortable because this lady has exposed herself. She is naked. She is touching her body and all that. So you also feel that you are now okay. Now they pay 100 cities and 200 cities in order to join such groups for how long you might take, and even if you want the physical contact and all that. These things are all going on, and I believe that authorities must step in and arrest these perpetrators because it is really causing so much worry. People are in distress, and sometimes even if I bring in some of these victims who want to be anonymous, for you to interview them, you would see the kind of psychological trauma that they have gone through as a result of their videos and these blackmailing that is actually on their ascendancy.
Right. Well, Doc, thank you so much. And I'm sure that in the coming days we'll have further conversations and educate the masses on this particular worrying phenomenon. But grateful for your time.
Thank you very much.
Right. So you heard cybersecurity expert Dr. Edward Danso Ansong there. And during his presentation, my producer, Prince Asian, he was really, really worried. I don't know what is causing that worry. But you're listening to Starr today here on Starr 103.5 FM. We'll be back with more stories. Stay with me.
Starr today. Burst, fast, and credible.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Rage and Might FM in Tamale, Somali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM.
Now, the Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professionals of Kodjo Teaching Hospital have issued a threat to withdraw their services at the facility from Monday, the 4th of August, if management of the teaching hospital fails to appoint a director in charge of allied health activities. The Give Us Our Freedom Now strike by the professionals will also escalate into a nationwide action if authorities do not heed to their demand by Wednesday, 7th August. There's more in this report.
Kodjo Teaching Hospital Board has denied us. If you come to the hospital, we have various directorates. Over 50 years now, we have been under the medical directorate, of which we have not been treated fairly. All we are asking for is that you give us our freedom. In fact, we deserve a director and even deputies under the director.
The Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professionals at Kodjo Teaching Hospital initially planned a march for 25th July. However, they postponed it after a meeting with the Minister of Health and the Chief Director. Unfortunately, the meeting did not yield the desired results. Speaking to journalists at a press conference in Accra, local president of the Allied Health Professionals, Dr. Francis Kwachi Entry, expressed concerns over the lack of the directorate, which he says significantly hampers their service delivery and welfare.
The board did not grant us the audience. And somewhere around the 9th of July, we saw that they had advertised for the position of Deputy Director of Medical Affairs, into brackets, Allied Health. And so they were so boxing us under the medical directorate and giving us a deputy director.
The association criticized the decision of the Kolebu management not to provide them with a directorate, calling it disrespectful. They warned that if their demands are not met by Thursday, 1st August, they will escalate their strike.
On the 2nd of August, which is Friday, we are going to withdraw OPD services. And then on Monday, which is 5th August, we are going to withdraw inpatient services. And then on Tuesday, which is the 6th of August, if management still do not heed to our call, we are going to go into a full-blown strike. And when on the 6th,
the association is calling on the Ministry of Health to intervene immediately and accord them the recognition and respect they deserve. Meanwhile, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital has stated that it will not address their demands, advising the association to take their grievances to the Public Services Commission.
You had a report on the Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professionals and the strike that they intend embarking on. Political activist Bernard Mona has declared his intention of contesting for president on the ticket of the PNC in the upcoming elections. The former national chairman for the People's National Convention and the lead convener of Arise Ghana stated that the current state of Ghana's economy demands that Ghanaians give him the opportunity to lead and transform the economy. He made these remarks during the launch of his presidential ambition today.
People of Ghana to elect me after my choosing by the PNC, that I will lead this country to enable us meet the needs of our people so that the ordinary man and woman, child, youth, agent, differently abled or not, is well fed, is well clothed, is well housed, is well secured, is well included in national life and development, and above all, is well empowered to contribute to building the Ghana we want. The struggles of Ghanaians are real. The plight of most Ghanaians, except the ill-gotten wealth individuals, is same. Hence, the fight is the same for most Ghanaians. I offer myself as a truly ready presidential candidate. The others are not ready to become presidential candidates, let alone leading Ghana. That understands wholly the same plight of Ghanaians. I offer myself to lead the same fight for all Ghanaians. Bound for change. We come with the same plight and we fight the same fight. Bre bako, eko bako, zauru bunyen, nuam bunyen. Let us together do this for change in 2024 to save our country, to save our youth, and to get a better Ghana.
So you heard Bernard Mona there declaring his intention to run for president on the ticket of the People's National Convention, PNC. Now the minority in Parliament has shut down a $250 million loan from the World Bank. Now the facility, which was meant for the energy sector recovery program, was supposed to be approved on the final day of sitting, given the consensus reached by the Finance Committee. However, MP for Aswasi Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak flagged an allocation of $94 million for consultancy services, questioning his justification. His concerns were supported by the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Kodjo Blakwa. Explanations from the majority side, led by Chairman for the Finance Committee, Patrick Yawama, did very little to convince the NDC MPs, who subsequently voted against the facility. The development generated some back and forth between the Speaker and the majority side, consequently culminating into the Speaker adjourning the House indefinitely. Here are excerpts.
I don't even understand why this part of this money is not going to empower some of our universities, like the electrical department of KNUST. And this money that we are talking about, consultancy, the Speaker, I want to believe that half of it could get our tertiary institutions to be able to produce our own meters. The Speaker, let them give us more details about this. I want to beg that we stand this thing down. Let's get these details. But to dedicate 94.8 million out of 250, why? You are giving us the money with one right hand and taking it with your left hand.
The call is in the right direction. He has raised it. So just give us the figures. Chairman, you have it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The project part 1 will be for the procurement of meters, which constitutes about 85% of the 90 million that he stated. So we are talking about over $75 million for the procurement of meters. But if he wants it written down, we can give him evidence. Thank you.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I want to find out from the members of the committee, can they give us evidence of what they are talking about? Because I've read through the report and I don't see that. Where can we find the $75 million that will be used to procure meters? We cannot approve $250 million and about 90 is going into consultants. That's what you have brought here. What you are telling us is not before us. So let's see some evidence to that effect. If not, we cannot take your word for it. If they don't produce the evidence, we will not support this facility.
So you heard excerpts from Parliament, and what we do know is that the majority in the House is seeking to have the Speaker recall the House for emergency extraordinary parliamentary session. And the justification basically from the majority side is that, let me read to you a statement or a memo from the majority leader to the Speaker of Parliament, and it says, urgent matters for consideration. We respectfully request that upon recall of the House, the following urgent government business be deliberated upon and transacted. 1. Motion on the financing agreement between the government of Ghana and the International Development Association for an amount of $250 million US state dollars for the Ghana Energy Sector Recovery Program. And that's what we just talked about, that the minority flagged some $94 million for consultancy, a reason why they voted against that facility. Also, request for tax exemptions for designated beneficiaries under the One District, One Factory program, Ghana Financial Stability Fund, and International Development Association facility of $250 million US dollars. And then bills. And the bills are Budget Bill 2023, Rent Bill 2023, University of Local Governance and Development Bill 2024, Environmental Protection Bill 2024, Social Protection Bill 2024, Interstate Succession Bill 2022, Chartered Institute of Reconstruction and Insolvency Practitioners Bill 2023, Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2024, National Petroleum Authority Bill 2024. So these are the urgent matters for consideration, for which reason the majority is asking the Speaker to recall the House. And it ends with a request for action that says, considering the constitutional and statutory provisions cited above, and in the exercise of our rights as members of Parliament, we respectfully urge you to summon Parliament for an extraordinary session within the stipulated 7-day period. We stand ready to provide any additional information or clarification that may be required and look forward to your favorable consideration of this request. Counting on your usual cooperation, sir. And this memo is from the Majority Leader, Alexander Penyumakin, to the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagden. Now let's do the sports now, and Benghazi. Benjamin Yamo has joined me with the latest in sports. Ben, we are in France and doing a lot of Olympics.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, Africa is not really hitting the limelight because I have bad news for Africa. In football, we are not doing very, very well. We'll begin from some local stories and then we'll get back to the Olympic Games and get you all the updates there. So we begin from local stories where the Executive Board Chair of Arts of Folk, Togbo Afedete, the management and the board are working to ensure they raise a better team for Arts of Folk. Now, he made a statement yesterday when they handed over the new building that he faced, released and handed over to the team as the club's new headquarters here in Accra.
We know that it doesn't take only infrastructure, but we need solid management. We continue to work at it. We need solid technical team. We continue to work at that as well. We need solid group of players. We're working at it. We want to assure our fans that management is committed, board is committed to assembling the best squad possible. Takes time because a lot of constraints are beyond your control. You may want a player who is not available, but as much as we can find those who are available, we will bring them into the family to ensure that infrastructure-wise we are solid, management-wise we are solid, in terms of players also we are solid. and we continue to build our technical team.
Let's now move to the Olympic Games in Paris, where there's drama over Nigerian athletes. And Nigerian officials have told the BBC that they're trying to work out how Favour Ofili's name was left out of the entry list for the women's 100 meters for Nigeria at the ongoing Olympic Games. 21-year-old sprinter was expecting to compete in 3 events at her first Olympics, the 100 meters, 200 meters, and the women's 4x100-meter relay. But Ofili was told she had not been registered for the 100 meters before Friday's heats. Now, she shared a blistering statement on social media saying, and I quote, "I have worked for 4 years to earn opportunity, and for what?" Now, there's confusion as to what happened with both the Nigerian officials and governing body, that's the world governing body, denying responsibility for the omission of Ofili's name from the list of athletes to compete for Nigeria at the ongoing games being held, obviously, in Paris. Still with some news on Nigeria, and the bad news is that Nigeria today have lost in football to Japan by 3-1, and with that scoreline, Nigeria are out in football of the Olympic Games for the women. So with that defeat, the Nigerian side, unfortunately, cannot progress, so they are out, joining other teams who are out of the ongoing tournament. When I was coming in here as well, Zambia were also playing in the women's division, and Zambia were down as well against their opponents, Germany. So if it ends that way, then unfortunately, Zambia also will join Nigeria out of the football tournament being held in France for the Olympic Games. Still with the Olympic Games, and Brazil's all-time leading goal scorer, Mata, walked off the pitch in tears after being shown a red card during a 2-0 defeat by Spain in the Olympic women's football tournament. Mata, who retired from international football this year, was sent off for narrowly missing Olga Carmona's head with a dangerous high-footed tackle during the group stage game held in Bordeaux. Now, Brazil were level when Mata was sent off just before halftime, with Spain scoring in a 68 minutes and then 17 minutes of the second half injury time, an extension prompted by multiple injury delays. Now, the defeat means her side can only now progress to the final stage if Canada are able to win their game to ensure that they help the Brazilians qualify as one of the third-place team to advance at the ongoing games in Paris. Let me update you on the medal table as we have it with the games ongoing. Currently, it is China who are on top on the medal table. They have got a total of 60 medals, but 8 gold medals for them. Second now is Australia, who have 7 gold medals, but in total, they have 14 in total. Japan are third. France are fourth. Great Britain are fifth. South Korea now are 6th, USA 7th now, Italy 8th, 9th is Canada, and then Germany occupy the 10th spot on the log. That's medal table for the ongoing games regards the Olympic Games. Let's do some footballing news again, and to English football, where Man City have been fined more than £2 million for delaying Premier League kickoffs and restarts 22 times over the past 2 seasons. The club agreed that they had breached Premier League rules when they delayed kickoff or delayed the restart after half-time external on multiple occasions without good reason. The Premier League champion delayed restarts 8 times in the previous season and were fined £390,000. Now, last year, a Premier League disciplinary committee, as we all know later on this year, will decide on 115 charges against City for allegedly breaching its financial regulations, some of which date back to 2009. Some of those charges relate to amounts paid to City by its sponsors linked with the owners from Abu Dhabi. And to our very last piece of sports news today, and this is interesting because Real Madrid's player Kylian Mbappe has completed a takeover move of League 2 side Car. Now, Interconnected Ventures, founded by Mbappe, has bought a majority stake in the French club through its investment arm, Coalition Capital. Now, France international Mbappe, 25 years old now, invested about 15 million euros of his own money via the investment fund. Now, Coalition Capital replaces previous majority shareholder, that's Oaktree, an American investment fund. Meanwhile, Pierre-Antoine Capton, president of the club, will still remain as majority shareholder of the football club. So, Kylian Mbappe is not only playing the game, but at 25 years has bought a football club in the French League 2. Somebody in here is placing their hands on the head. I don't know why, though. But that's great news there for Kylian Mbappe. 25 years, already investing and buying football clubs.
So, what did you buy when you were 25?
I'm sure I bought my pair of shoes or something. I bought some pair of shoes.
Some pair of shoes or something.
It's I mean, adding, but well, I mean, it is what it is.
I paid bride price. Anyways,
at 25.
Let's go to some international stuff. Benghazi, thank you so much for the latest in the world of sports. Elsewhere, the State Secretary of the United States of America says USA did not have any knowledge and was not involved in the killing of Hamas's political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Iran. According to authorities in Hamas, their leader was killed in an Israeli strike, which they deem an assassination attempt, and so vowed to revenge his death. Now, the late Ismail was involved in the peace talks between Israel and Gaza, and USA's Anthony Blinken says he cannot speculate the impact this matter will bring so far as peace talks are concerned.
What I can tell you is this. First, this is something we were not aware of or involved in. It's very hard to speculate, and I've learned over many years never to speculate on the impact one event may have on something else. So I can't tell you what this means. I can tell you that the imperative of getting a ceasefire, the importance that that has for everyone remains. And we will continue to labor that for as long as it takes to get there. It's vitally important to help end the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza. It's vitally important to getting the hostages home, including a number of Americans. It's vitally important to hopefully putting things on a better path for more enduring peace, for more enduring security. So that focus remains, and again, speculating on the impact of any one event, I've learned is not a wise thing to do.
So you heard U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. Now, elsewhere, crowds of people gather in Caracas, the capital city of Venezuela, making their way to Miraflores, the presidential palace, to protest the re-election of President Nicolas Maduro after electoral authorities declared him victorious on Monday. Now, according to President Maduro, he has won the elections but tells the people not to ask him for proof. The victory makes it his third victory in a 6-year presidential term, and the citizens who believe that the election results are not a true reflection of the ballots they cast have taken to the streets to express their determination and rage against the results. Former presidential candidate Alejandro Peña Escalasa, who reacted to the ongoing protests in the country, says Maduro must accept defeat and apologize to the people because everyone knows that he robbed the elections.
This will continue until Maduro accepts his defeat. The people in Venezuela is enraged. They're very not only sad, but they're enraged, as I said before, because they've been robbed. The population knows that Maduro was defeated in a huge slime-light process. So nobody likes him anymore. He has created a humanitarian crisis. The third of the population of Venezuela, 8 million Venezuelans, have to flee out of the country. So he's not giving any solutions. And everybody knows he robbed the elections. So people in Venezuela are in the streets, and they're going to continue to be in the streets. And I believe that also more international protests will start to come in. So the combination of international resistance and national resistance will make it impossible for Maduro to stay in power much longer.
Alejandro Peña Escalasa is former presidential candidate in Venezuela. Ending the bulletin right here on Star 103.5 FM. This morning is for you at starfm.com.gh. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Many thanks to Emmanuel Donko for ensuring that we're streaming live on Facebook, and to the Comnat Dumont News team. We say thank you so much for helping put this together. Let's do the same time tomorrow right here on Simply the Best, Star 103.5 FM. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Have a wonderful evening.